We are live. Separation season is officially here. It is holiday break week to where your kids are at home. Zeno's in front of me playing Minecraft. It's easy to fall to the wayside and not stay locked in on these short weeks, in my opinion. You got to fucking grind everybody to get shit done. Everybody's already checked out. And then honestly, you only have, I would say, this and 2 more weeks in December to get any business done. Because after December 15th, the world honestly just says peace. I've seen it every year in every single business that we've owned. After December 15th, everybody's like, I'm out. You ain't getting me to do shit unless you got to get something to the finish line. You're grinding people to get deals closed before Christmas or something. Have you seen the similar thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's true for most people, for sure. Most people definitely want to just like cruise and chill through, and then they, want to eat all the holiday desserts, and they want to go to all the parties, and then they, a lot of people end up making up excuses as to why they didn't get this, that, or what the other done by the end of the year. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I think that's because like right now I posted about it. Like, I think Halloween starts separation season, as far as where people really start to check out, because there's so much stuff going on to where people get distracted. It's really easy to fall off your diet. I'd say that's the number one thing I suck at is I love food, to where I'm not as good as Dean. I made Dean sit there and eat cupcakes with me on his birthday. We had a bite out of a cupcake.
It was my birthday, and I was resisting the cupcakes. You peer pressured me into eating cupcakes, and I was like, all right.
And then I ate the rest of those fucking cupcakes by myself.
Tell
Like
me you did
me,
that.
and Kalani, bro. They were so good. They were so good.
Oh my
God. But yeah, bro. And someone just asked a question, Jay, what do you guys think of nationwide PPC? We'll answer that a little bit later. I personally like it to an extent. You just got to be able to know how to do it. Yeah, I think separation season is big. Dialing it in. I don't believe in like big planning for the next year, honestly, because like if you're executing month over month and quarter over quarter, you kind of already know what needs to be done. There's no point in doing like this whole big grand scheme. You should be like really in the game, knowing what has to be done and great. Pat Hilton says you can smell greatness through the screen. Thank you, my friend. What do you feel about like the end of year planning? Like I know what we need to go out and execute on. I don't need to go make like an end of year plan. I already know what's there. Like I know the path that we're on, the path that we need to follow, the path we need to execute on.
Yeah, to me, I think if you're resorting to the end of the year plan as to like finally kick things into gear, then you weren't planning or executing the whole year. I agree with that. I will say though that I do think that mentally speaking, being in the grind hustle mode, that I think it's okay to kind of like reset yourself and use that end of the year time, or it could be middle of the year time, or it could be quarterly. Whatever your cadence is, you need to be doing it, period, to be checking in on yourself, seeing how things are. I know that I've used the past month or so to really just kind of refresh on some things, make some decisions on what we're doing for marketing, or the way our team looks and what we're doing, and have made some really big changes, and I'm excited about them. And I think it was just because it was kind of a reflection on the year and how do we want to adjust and make things better next year.
But I don't think it's like a planning. That was you actively being like, I'm in Q4 now. Am I happy? No, I don't think I'm happy. Like, I think we need to make like these adjustments. And then you just did it. But are you saying I'll make these adjustments of Q1 of next year? No, you're just saying, here's what we need to do. We'll get
making them now. Yep.
Yeah. It's not like, at least I don't think anybody who listens to this pod is planning 5 years ahead for their company.
I don't think so either.
Right. Like I personally don't think it's needed. I think if you're just going like quarter by quarter, like, hey, here's what I want to hit. And then you're really looking at your KPIs like, all right, did we get enough leads to even hit this? awesome. We got enough leads based off the data that we have to hit this. What is the hole that we need to fix? And then that's why you have all those weekly and quarterly check-ins, just so you can identify it. And I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of the yearly planning. I'm a big fan of the yearly goals. I bought a big ass calendar last year, and I honestly did not execute on it nearly as good as I wanted to. But that's just for, I wanted to take a trip like once a quarter, and I think we took 2 this year, not like 1 every quarter, of like doing a memorable event. And I guess that would be something I'd plan for.
Yeah. I think, again, end of the year stuff, I think it's good for reflecting on things like that. Like, did I have the type of year that I wanted to have? Am I happy with it? The way you put that, I think is good. But you should be taking enough action to where you already are making a lot of changes, and you have enough feedback from the actions you've been taking to be making consistent changes, right?
Oh shit. Intros. Yeah, we can do intros. If you guys don't know, my name is Stratton Brown, aka Strat Daddy. We have Mr. Captain America Dean Rogers. I have scaled 2 different companies to 7 figures, all virtually. Right now, we're on a 7-figure challenge to do more. We have a 7-figure real estate portfolio. And what else? And I got started in real estate because I had absolutely no life skills. And I happened to get a job with the biggest investor in town. And he took a chance on me. And I happened to last long enough to where I didn't give up.
That's pretty fortunate, right?
I think it was, because I don't think I'm super smart to where I got years and years and years of education in business, real estate wise and business wise, from Alan in like a 1.5, 2-year span, to where I think was the best thing that could have ever happened to me out of college. I don't think anything would have matched that based off of the trajectory I'd had, and like even just the life I'd lived so far, to where I grew up really blue collar, to where, yeah, like you're like working and you get business, but like, did I know professionalism and real estate and how to do deals, how to sell people, how to lead a team? I didn't have any of that. And then this was the only vehicle that I could get into while not graduating college and still make good money.
So before I get into my intro, I mean, that gap right there for most people to actually see and experience the business side, that's a big gap for most people. I mean, again, most of that is not taught.
No.
And if it is taught, it's theory. It's not actual experiential learning. And so for you to get that crash course on business and see that from that perspective is pretty unique and pretty amazing. So
I think it was the best thing ever, just because like I knew how to break down an apartment complex really early on. Like one of my first deals was like a 16-unit apartment complex.
Yeah.
That like I cold called, and I was like, oh bro, we can make money on this. And then we started going after more apartments. Then I did like an 8-unit. And so like learning just how to analyze apartments and be confident in it led me to being able to analyze storage facilities and still feel confident in the numbers, knowing what cash flow is, like what to expect and all that other stuff, on top of like having to like be there every day, do the same stuff every day, how to not call an old man bro, like all these like little things. As I'm a 22-year-old dude who only had played football and like worked blue collar jobs, had no clue whatsoever. And I was just out here trying to make money, to where, and we talk about this a lot of people don't know how to act in business situations in order to not burn their name and just do good business. And Alan taught me how to do good business.
Yeah.
To where if you don't have someone guiding you, you may be short-sighted, especially a lot of young men, to where you're just like out here trying to get it and everything else, to where I'd say being short-sighted is the worst thing you can do, because the people who are in the business and they've been in the business for, let's say, 5 years, they're going to continue to stay in the business and be relevant in whatever aspect or community you're involved in for the rest of your life. So you don't want to burn that bridge early on over some pettiness or some greediness or whatever.
Yeah. I've seen over the past 10 years, I've been in the business. I've seen some dudes come in and guns blazing, super hot, ready to take on the world, and they just fizzle out because they just burn those relationships, and that's a really tough lesson to learn because the intent might have been good at first, but then you just get blinded by it. So, all right, so jumping into my intro, guys. What's up? Dean Rogers here. You're the co-host. Excited to be with you guys here today. And the topic we have, I started my career in the NFL, then I transitioned to corporate, then into real estate. Been investing in real estate for a decade now in Central California. We have broken through, done 700 deals, have an 8-figure rental portfolio, and coaching students how to get started in real estate with wholesaling. So you guys can always connect with me at deanrogers.com.
I love it. I mean, I want to know what the other thing that Alan taught me. Separation season is all the time, but then like during the wintertime is big. And I remember what really like showed me Alan's work ethic is when he had a heart attack, went locked up 3 units, came back, and then he was like, man, I don't feel good. And they took him to the hospital. Right? To where like you are competing with, and even though we always say collaboration, you're still competing against a lot of people. And so doing just the little things that most people don't want to do is going to go a really, really, really long way. And I mean, those 3 deals in Central California, that's 75 grand of locking up 3 units. I mean, so he did that, made 75 grand, and then came back. To where it exposes you to the hard work that it does take in order to create the life you want. And Alan's one of the hardest workers I know, and he built something crazy in like fucking 3 years, bro. He became multi-millionaire in 3 years.
Yeah, his story is wild.
But I mean, what else do you have about separation season? What else do you do besides not getting in the cold plunge to like make yourself stand out during separation season? Do you even consider it separation season? Do you tell yourself we got to put a little bit more on the gas because everybody's slipping up?
No, so I don't even really think about this myself in terms of like making adjustments. But guys, when it comes to the holiday season, the reality is that most people are going to pause their businesses. Most people are going to pump the brakes. Most people are going to get busy doing other stuff that just feels good and comfortable. And if you are the type of person that wants to get ahead, if you're the type of person that's looking for the breakthrough in your business, you have to stay focused. You can't get distracted by all the parties, by all the Black Friday sales. You can't get distracted by all of the comfort food. You can't have the excuses you allow yourself to have and come out of it and say, oh, I need to get back on the horse now. I need to start eating right again. Oh, I need to take it serious and start making my calls again. Oh, I need to start following up with people. Oh, I need to start that marketing campaign back up. Guys, it's just, you got to consistently stay in this business to continue to get the results that you want, or to finally get the results that you want. I mean, this stuff takes time. It takes the daily habits of you putting in the calls. And I've been talking about this more recently as people are looking for the next shiny thing, the next shiny button to press and say, okay, great. This is what I need to do. This is going to get me the results. There's only so many things we can do, Strat, right? There's only so many different ways to market. There's only so many different situations the seller is going to be in and the problems we have to solve. At the end of the day, the business has a lot of odds and ends in real estate investing, but we don't need to overcomplicate it. We just got to do the work. I think we're trying to convince ourselves that there's something else to it, and there's really not. The people that are getting the deals aren't doing something so crazy that you could have never dreamt of it, and it's so secretive that it's unrepeatable. Most of the time, it's just that they're doing what you're supposed to be doing consistently, and then as a result of doing it consistently, they figure out how to improve on it and make these micro changes to get better results. And a case in point, right now, we have some things that we're executing on from a marketing standpoint. And the marketing that we're tweaking is the hustle type of strategies. And I'm talking like networking. I'm talking like driving for dollars. And we're emphasizing and reinforcing daily habits to have good behavior so that we can get the consistency we need to get the results we want. And just by doing that, we're already starting to see improvements in those areas that I'm mentioning right now that we've fallen off of because we've been distracted with other things. So it's just a function of, if you want to continue to move forward in your business and continue getting the results you're getting, or you want to have breakthrough and finally get results, then we got to stay with it. And separation season is no different than the rest of the year. It's separation season year round. It's all year, because most people will get in, they'll get excited, and then they'll fall off because they'll lose track of doing the basics. They're looking for the next shiny thing.
I think and Deal Champs always talks about collaboration, and I really do, but I do think about it from like a competitive standpoint. I think now more than ever, you need to be aware that you need to stay more consistent, because now will be your biggest opportunity just to gain a little bit more market share and capture 2 more deals that'll add to your bottom line next year, because everyone else is slipping up. And that's just the truth, because there's going to be a bunch of other people who don't want to be on the phones. They don't want to do all these other things, to where if you just stay consistent and your team stays consistent, you guys could lock up and you won't see it for 90 days, but then March is going to look real pretty, right? Because you stayed consistent. And now, wow, we finished Q1 with a bang. That's what we're going for, to where if you are new and nobody wants to talk about this, you're coming in with no skills and you're competing against people. Dean's been in it for 10 years. Jason's been in it for 10 years. How long have I been in it? Like 6 years, 5 years, to where you cannot afford to slip up, in my opinion. You have to do the stuff that's going to make you stand out. And this goes across any business, because if you don't, you just will get washed away really, really fast. And then Dean can outspend you with his sexy ass commercials that he has running. And then they're going to see Dean's commercials. You didn't get them in time, and then poof. What was our next topic, Dino?
So I think as we're looking in the holidays and we're running up against Thanksgiving here, I think a good topic just to get people thinking about this is talking about gratitude. Okay. And I know a lot of people like to reflect on Thanksgiving, what they're grateful for, friends and family, all those kind of things. But I want to talk about that real quick. We had something from Mitch Craighead. What's up, Mitch? And IG.
What's going on, Mitch?
Says, always be grinding. There's so much opportunity this time of the year when others are taking their foot off the gas.
Mitch, so did you end up getting that house I sent you, bro? Or did she sell to that Texas company? I need to text you about that. We had a lead come in that we waited on too much to send to Mitch right by his house up in Roseville.
Well, hopefully Mitch jumped on it. So when it comes to Thanksgiving, guys, think about gratitude. This is something that I had taken from, who did I learn this from? I'm drawing a blank right now. It'll come to me maybe later. But there was another company that I had taken this from about, coming from a place of gratitude and implementing this into your weekly practice.
You got that from me, and I got it from Raphael.
Are you sure?
Positive.
I'm not sure. I think I got it from somewhere else, but I'll give you credit for it now. Until I think about it.
Let's hear it if it's what I think it is.
Mitch on IG says they lost by 1 day.
I'm such a piece of shit sometimes. Sorry, Mitch.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's the separation season right there. Fucking day. We fired a sales rep. The sales rep was working it, and then we fucking, oh my God.
Strat was sleeping on a lead. Took too much time.
Took too much. I texted Mitch about it. It fell through the cracks, and that they were like, oh yeah, blah, 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 we want to do this. I think Mitch needed to be a little bit lower than what they ended up selling it for, but oh well. All right, what's your gratitude practice? Do you know?
So what we implemented is we practice gratitude on our team meetings every Tuesday. and we get on and we open up the meeting. We give some announcements, different things like that. Mitch on IG says, grateful for the Go Giver Deal Champs. What's up, Mitch? Yeah, shout out to Mitch. Mitch is another great example. Mitch Craighead, up in the Sacramento area, just runs a meetup up there. If you guys are looking for meetups, I would search out Mitch Craighead. Mitch, drop in your the name of your RIA that you have. We can give you guys a shout out there too. But Mitch is a great example of somebody who's a go-giver himself and a community builder. So awesome to have him there. So what we do at the beginning of our meetings, we have announcements, and then we get into gratitude, and we just talk about what we're grateful for, and it could be something simple as one of my team members today was grateful for the new lime and lemon trees that he bought and how they're producing limes right now. And he's just grateful to have those in his life. For me, it could be, I'm grateful for some walks that I was going on, working out, or an experience I had with my kid, or, just when you put yourself in that state of mind, it really just can transform the way you view the rest of your day, the rest of your week, the rest of your month, the rest of your year, when you're from a place of gratitude. Because, life is tough. Life is tough. Curveballs are thrown at us all the time. Life is challenging. Life can be stressful, but if we're viewing it through the lens of gratitude, then it makes it a lot easier for us to deal with the life pressures, for us to deal with an obstacle that we're having to overcome with the seller and focus on the problem solver. We're grateful for the opportunity to help solve that problem and be able to create a win-win, help that seller out, create an opportunity for us to create some revenue and help our business grow. So I think that's something that this time of year people do spend some more time thinking about. And I think if you can practice that regularly, then it can completely change the way you look at things. Because it's easy to just, oh, here's another day, I got to work my butt off, and you kind of can get burnt out. But shifting your mindset can make a big change there.
We do it every day. So we do something you're grateful for and something good that happened to you. So, hey, what is because a lot of good things happen to you and you don't really think about it. And then something you're grateful for, just naming something like, what was it today for me? I think it was, I found an extra Adderall pill. That was something I was grateful for. I was like, hey, I got one more. And then what was something good that happened to me? Something good that happened to me, I get to coach Zeno's rugby team. Right. And so it's just like little things like that. And for anybody who's growing their team, the benefits of doing this every day gives you an insight into your team members' lives and get to know them better on that quick little huddle. And so and I got that from Cortez, because Cortez has been doing it. I've known him. I think I've known him longer than I've known you, Dean.
I think you have, yeah.
And that's where I got that from. But I have an honest question for you. Do you miss your walks on the beach wearing your silk robe as you drove down from your house in your nice $100,000 golf cart? Do you miss those?
We'll get back to that in a second. So on IG, Mitch Craighead says it's at NorCal RIA. Okay, for you guys that are up in NorCal, Sacramento area, you guys are looking for a meetup. You want to connect with others, network, learn, grow together. Highly recommend you guys check out NorCal RIA up in Northern California with Mitch Craighead. Another shout out to Omar Alfaro. We were just talking about Omar yesterday. We were literally just talking about you, bud. Omar is at a property right now in Apple Valley that we just sold to him last week. Yeah. So we just closed on that deal, did a deal with Omar, which was great. Omar's a great buyer, good friend, was super easy to work with. And so if you guys got any deals in that area, don't be shy. Reach out to Omar Alfaro. So that's awesome. Yes, sir. All right.
So you're going to answer the honest question yet, bro? Like, you don't have did you bring your staff with you? Like up to Temecula, or did your staff have to stay in San Diego?
Brought half of them. So yeah. So for those that don't know, I just moved from La Jolla to Temecula, and it's still really weird to say it out loud. But Omar says they're filming content right now at the Apple Valley House. So Omar sends me a text a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, "Hey, can I?" He was doing. I think he was doing like a walkthrough with the seller. He's like, "Hey, can I bring my video guy?" I'm like, what for what? I'm filming content, bro. I gotta get on your guys' level. I was like, I don't know, probably not, because like this is a seller.
Yeah,
we're trying to lock in the deal. We're trying to get it done. Let's not show up with a film crew. Let's film it after. And he's like, all right, no problem. But yeah, so I just moved from La Jolla to Temecula, and La Jolla was the dream life. We lived in La Jolla for 5 years. We lived in San Diego for 10 years, and was honestly like a dream. I mean, I would just wake up and have a lot of gratitude. We were just talking about with being able to see the ocean daily and be able to walk on the beach. I mean, the last house we were living in, we just lived 2 blocks from one of the best and one of my favorite beaches in the world. And it was just right there, steps away, and living the golf cart life. And everything about it was amazing, except the one thing we felt like we were missing was community. And to make a long story short, a lot of the friends that we did have local in San Diego, La Jolla area had all kind of moved out of the state, moved out of California because of California politics, and it's crazy and it's frustrating, and had kind of moved on. And so we kind of felt a little isolated. We had everything except that community part. And we have a really big friend group that is super plugged in. Many of them are very successful business owners, and we just feel incredible around them. So we're like, you know what? Nothing's holding us back. I work remotely. I do my business virtual. My team works and lives in Central California. I can live wherever. So let's just give it a try. There's nothing preventing us. So dude, just being here a week long now, and we've literally seen friends daily. We're surrounded by neighbors with kids, and literally it's been community overload. And we already have like tons of holiday stuff planned.
Yeah.
Our kids are going to be on the same. We've already literally scheduled and planned kids on the same sports teams. We already have, all this stuff planned out, and going to church with these people. So it's pretty awesome. It's been amazing. I'm living like the suburban lifestyle. I've got like a smoothie bar set up at the house. You got to see the smoothie bar, dude. Still crushing the golf cart, going to the park with the kids.
That was my next question, bro. Like, is it golf cartable, or is it really not as
still
good?
Crushing the golf cart life? And there's other people in the community with golf carts too, so it's still a thing.
Is it going to be a good golf carts chat? Like, is it good enough for that? Like, do we have places to go?
I'm going back down to San Diego for golf cart chats. I'm either going to tow the golf cart, or I'm going to get a golf cart from La Jolla Golf Carts, and we're still doing beach. Yep. We might do some Temecula stuff too, but San Diego is a bigger draw and easier to get to from the airport. So
do you have an airport by you, or do you have to go to San Diego?
It's an hour either way. I either go to San Diego hour, or go to John Wayne Airport in Orange County for an hour.
All right, we'll do one. I mean, the kid will come, and then we'll probably do one after the summit.
After? You're just scared of the hills.
No, I mean, think about it, bro. You're gonna have a new kid. I'm not gonna come in and tell you to tell your wife, "Hey, I got to go to San Diego to record a podcast with Strat."
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it in a couple weeks. You're just scared.
Well, we're not gonna do it as the baby's coming.
The baby's not here yet, man. The baby's got a couple months. This is the 5th one, man. We're not worried about it. It'll come when it comes.
What other topics do we have? I got a question. Someone said, what did they say? What do you guys think of nationwide PPC? And I will just answer that real quick. I think nationwide pay-per-click is, if you are not experienced, could be very hard, and you could spin your wheels for a long time. And I've talked to lots of people. I talked to lots of my friends when I started the challenge. about like pitfalls to avoid. And I'd say if you're not in a market that is 250 at least and above, you are going to be spinning your wheels forever because you have no room. You don't know any market to where, and we just opened up PPC in Central California from like Bakersfield to Sacramento. But to me, it's very understandable. I think California is probably the most forgiving. Like you could negotiate a little bit and you could still get really, really big deals. But if you are going to do nationwide PPC, like with Lead Zolo right now, they have like statewide discounts. If you're new, I think it's good for you because you can get more bang for your buck and get a lot of solid at bats. But then eventually you should consolidate down into a couple markets and do it that way. That's just my 2 cents. Do you have any 2 cents, Dino?
Look, there's going to be people that are going to beat their chests and say that the only way to do PPC is to go, nationwide and to go big. I struggle with nationwide anything and believing that that's the path because I personally am a big believer on localized knowledge, localized execution. It can be done. Look, there's people that are doing it and there's people that are having success with nationwide, but nationwide, you got to be careful when you say nationwide because typically what a lot of the big players are saying as I'm in masterminds and in some of these groups, I'm hearing that most people are narrowing down their focus. They may say no nationwide, but they're really hyper focused in specific markets that are actually getting them results. And usually they're getting results because not only is the market have good opportunities, but they have the right systems, they have the right tools, the right people in place to allow them to actually execute. That's what it boils down to, right? And just as simple as an example as we just had, Strat had a lead come in and he slept on it a little bit because there was some turnover with some team members. And here comes this deal that was available and the deal, someone else takes it, right? Strat misses out on it. And that happens. That happens even in your own backyard.
Oh yeah.
So,
I didn't have the confidence to know, like, is this a fucking home run?
Yeah.
Like, yes or no? Because that's the biggest thing that'll hold you up nationwide. You have no confidence unless someone's giving you a house. You're like, hey, this is going to make sense. To where in Central California, I could more than likely tell you, like, hey, bro, this is because I can text a buyer. And I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah. The relationships scale, I would say, like when it's local, I can, like you called Omar probably, like, Omar, you want to go look at this, bro? Here's the price we're getting it at. I'm going to sell it to you here.
That was exactly it. It was in Apple Valley. I watch Omar post about his deals in that northeast LA County area. And I thought to myself, oh, wait, I do know a buyer in this area. Omar is a good friend and he's doing deals. I'm going to reach out to Omar. He was top of my mind. Sent him a text. He checked out the numbers. He checked out the deal and we put it together. Like it was extremely easy.
So easy. To where we sold a deal to a dude in Virginia, some fuck named Sam Hopkins. And then like last minute, he was like dragging his feet to close. Last minute, he's like, hey, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And he was just an asshole. Or typically like in your local markets, you can just know who to avoid and know if it's even worth like doing business with someone. And then even I'm a big fan of telling everybody when someone's a cunt, because if they're going to be a cunt to me, they're going to be a cunt to other people. And so throwing them out there and then getting it done. And I think the trust of buyers, as we've done nationwide stuff and you're just operating with a bunch of random people, it's sketch because you can't trust anybody. You don't know who's snaking you. You don't know who's actually going to follow through. Yeah. And so if you can, and you got to put a bunch of systems in place to make that happen. Whereas if you're local, you know everything, you know our people. Yeah, you can put it on the MLS and get it sold, but still not everything's an MLS still. And you just want to send it out to the email list and it's bing, bow, boom. It's done in an hour. Much, much different.
Yeah. So I don't love the idea of it. Some people are doing it, but they're really focusing in. So if you're considering, scaling your business, if you haven't already, my personal opinion is to ask yourself, why aren't you getting results where you're at now? Is it just that restrictive of a market, or are you not doing enough in your area? Are you not being efficient enough? Again, going back to a topic earlier, if we're looking for the easy button, I mean, I don't think there's a shortcut to get the results you want. You got to do the hard work, and you got to get it figured out, and you got to get your skills up. And, usually it's just tweaking the things to work better. And a lot of that sometimes can be you. You're the one that needs to tweak you to be better. It could be your actions, right? Are you taking the actual actions? Are your skills prepared and ready? Like, how are you performing on the phones? There's
If
a
your
lot to
skills
it.
are, I think internet marketing is the way to go, and you'd get much better results.
Mm-hmm.
I used to own a cold calling company, and now I think it's, for someone who's new, you have to learn how to manage and do a lot. Unless, like, if you're cold calling yourself, that's one thing. But as soon as you get a little bit of money and you can weather the storm of just even doing PPL, I think it is an absolute no-brainer, and it'll get you results faster rather than sitting there cold calling and cold calling and cold calling. Because that's how I got started, and it took forever. To where if I would have had PPL back then, it would have been a no-brainer.
Yeah.
What was our next topic, Dino?
So now it's time for us to get into the 0 to $1 million challenge. And I'm really curious to get updates on this. I think we could just jump right in. You had a pretty killer update just before we started, saying you got 3 new deals today locked up, 3 different types of deals. So let's just start with an overall update just on, how is the challenge going? What are some of the pros and cons, or what are the wins, or, the learning lessons?
Challenge didn't go as nearly as good as I thought it would, and I'd say that was on my own negotiating with some of the lead providers and setting like a standard of lead quality. Because I was like, hey, we'll take X amount, but getting very, very detailed with like, hey, I want X amount of X to be this instead of excess that we got. But now we have, shout out Courtney Scott. We locked up 2 of his leads from his company today.
You guys turn that back on?
We turned it back on. He hit me up, and he was like, yeah, bro, I didn't think you were like, he was like, I thought you were only doing California. I said, no, California is where we'll make the most money, but we do stuff nationwide. He was like, okay, I can get you solid nationwide leads. And if I go today, we locked up 1 in Birmingham, Alabama for 65. That's worth 175. 1 in Houston, that'll be an ovation. We locked it up at 300. We'll put it on the market at 375.
Wow.
And then another sub 2 to where it was built last year. She wants $3,500. Her mortgage is $1,800 and the rents are $2,400. And so that one will be like, that one is your ideal sub 2 for someone.
Where's that one at?
That one's in Richmond, Kentucky. Let me see. What part of Kentucky? Yeah, Richmond, Kentucky. But this is the hard part about when you're doing nationwide stuff. Because I'm looking at it, it's like it's a suburb of a smaller town. Obviously, I mean, if it's selling at $300,000, it's a really affluent part of Kentucky. But dispoing that is going to be a little bit harder, even if like it has to be a killer deal. But I was like, bro, $3,500 to her. It was built last year. There's the only entry fee this person has is to pay us. That makes sense. And so that was what made it happen. And with her, I had talked to her yesterday, and she's like, I don't know. And I went for the no. She was like, can I have till the end of the week? I was like, honestly, man, my offers are good for 24 hours. If you want me to just give you a call tomorrow, we can. But like, I can't wait till the end of the week. We talk to so many people a day. We just want to know where our funds are going to go.
Mm-hmm. I like
and
that
then
one.
I called her this morning, and she was like, yeah, you know what? I found a place I want to go. I'd like to get this moving forward. And then we got all the paperwork signed, and that one will be a really good one. But again, when we're talking about nationwide, if this was in Central California, I would have bought this myself. Like because it's such a no-brainer. We get into something for $3,500 in closing costs. Bro, if I had that in Madeira or really anywhere within an hour around me, like, bro, that's a no-brainer, and you get a tax write-off for the end of the year.
Yeah, especially with $1,800 in payments, $2,400 in rents. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Right, it's a no-brainer.
You're going to wholesale that one?
I'll wholesale it. We'll
Okay.
probably make 10 to 20 on it, depending. You don't make it. It's hard to make a lot of money on sub 2 deals because then unless you're selling it to a dipshit, and just to be straight up, because you're looking at it through like a return standpoint. Yeah. For all those sub 2 deals that come out in Central California, everybody wants $80,000 to get into a $30,000 house because someone has a 4% mortgage. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
To where this one, she has a 5% interest rate, but at the same time, when you're analyzing deals like this, and I think about like, who am I selling this to? Who would get this? I'd want to sell to the Henry Washington of that area. Henry's like, bro, I don't care about the interest rate. It cash flows. I have zero capex, and my entry fee is really low. My return is going to be crazy. It's better debt than I'd go out and get anyways. I'm fine. Right, and so it's just stuff like that. I think it's a 5.5.
That's fine.
Right, and I mean, on a regular rental, that's still not bad over the grand scheme of that.
Yeah,
to where you got still a really, really good return, and you'll get your money back within like a year and a half.
Yeah.
What are some other things we've learned? I mean, I've had to learn how to do novations. We've messed up quite a few, and we've mispriced quite a few.
So what are the things you've messed up on novations? Because it doesn't. People make them sound simple, but I think you could mess up on the execution of it. You could mess up on the pricing of it, setting the expectations. So what's
setting expectations? Like one. What's going on, Edwin? I'd say setting up expectations with them. Just like, hey, we're gonna need a lot of access, and like, here's what we're doing. We're gonna put it on the market, and just being very, very transparent. Like, we're gonna negotiate on your behalf. There's going to be some. We need more access. The one you
just locked up in Houston, is that the conversation you had with him?
Legitimately, the conversation was, I offered him $250. He was like, I bought it for $250 10 years ago. I'm not doing $250. And so I was like, okay, we may have another option for you in that $300,000 mark, but I'm going to need more time. I'm going to need more access. We're going to have to get a bunch of people in here. And then he was like, so essentially you're listing it. And I was like, no, we're not going to be a realtor, because when someone wants something repaired, we're the one who makes the repairs. Right. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Most people only care about their number, right? People care about their number. Very few people who we do deals with have an exact timeline where things have to be done, unless it's like a pre-foreclosure. Wouldn't you agree? Like, most people aren't like, hey, this needs to get done in 30 days. Most people aren't like that. Like, it's, hey, what's your problem? Our offer is around the problem, and then we solve from there.
Yeah, most have flexibility. There's some rare cases where they're pushing on us real hard, but yeah.
And so that was the conversation. We told him we'd do that. He's like, all right, honestly, I don't care. You guys make your money. I just want my $300. And we were like, sweet. And so we got some paperwork signed. The sub 2 woman, oh my God, that one's terrible. She bought it last year, and her husband went to a nursing home right afterwards. And so she was like, I can't upkeep this thing. She was like, I don't want to upkeep this thing. I have no equity. I refinanced like 6 months after we bought it, so I'm almost upside down on it. So she'd have to bring money to the table. And so that's like, having those tools in your tool belt, I think, are really good, because now we have the novation. We did that one. That'll be in Houston, and that's what fit that seller. Now we have the sub 2 deal. That is the only thing that could help that seller without her having to come out of pocket. I mean, on a $300,000 house, that's a pretty hefty commission. And then we have the wholesale deal in Alabama. And that one was just like, shout out OmniDrip. He went dark on us because I guess his daughter dropped his phone in the water. We put him on a OmniDrip contract sent, didn't hear back. We told him we'd be at 65, I want to say 2 weeks ago. And we just didn't hear from him And so we put him on the drip, followed up with him once a day, and then he came back today, called us, saying, "Hey, I still want to sell. Were we going to be at 70? Like, I'm ready to go." I was like, "No, we need to be at 65." And he was like, "All right, like, I'm good for 65."
Huh.
And then we should be getting photos within the next hour because it's vacant, and so that one will be really, really easy. So, what are the ways we've messed up the novation? Mispricing, I believe, is like the number one thing. Of like, you think you're going to get one thing and you really aren't. Like, you got to be I'd say you want to be aggressively below the market price to just get it moved. Like, we don't want to sit on these things forever. And that's what I told the guy today. I was like, "Hey, we're going to underprice this just because we want this off the books. We want to make our money, and we just want to get it done. We're not out here trying to sell this thing for absolute tip-top dollar." Number two, we've gone through a handful of like flat fee brokers. And so learning how to like vet the flat fee brokers, which ones can do what, and then like which ones in what states can do what. And then we're waiting on, right now we're doing one in Florida, but we threw it up with a flat fee broker just because we've been waiting forever. But as soon as we get our professional photos, we just wanted to see if we get that back. As soon as we get our professional photos, we're throwing it up with an actual realtor so they can actually move it. Because I talked to Rich Wonders about this. Yeah, Rich Wonders, Dean. Not Rich Summers. About it. And he was like, "Bro, the agents do a lot of your dispo work for you. And for me, this thing is supposed to be a cash machine. I don't want to build out some big dispositions department."
Mm-hmm.
So we got that aspect. Another aspect where we mix it up. Overpricing, flat fee brokers. I would say not setting clear expectations that you're going to need a significant amount of walkthroughs. With these novations, it's not like nothing is like California to where more times than not you can sell shit sight unseen based off of photos. Because there's such demand and like the buyers are trained to be like, "Yep, I want it," or "No."
Is that a California thing?
Oh, bro, it's a California thing to where dudes are just like, "Yeah, I'll take it. Let's go." Because how many of your buyers need to walk your stuff?
I mean, I've gotten to them to the point where most of them don't. And that's just through like consistent conditioning. So yeah, most of them don't. I feel like it's more times buyers will not walk the property than they will walk the property, at least recently. In the past, I think I definitely schedule a lot more walkthroughs, but yeah, most of the deals, I mean, the pictures, look at the comps, they know the area, they want it, the desire is there, they know it's competitive. Give me the deal. I'll take the deal. Otherwise, exactly. I know it'll be gone.
To where, and this is another thing when you go local or you're in a set amount of markets and you can do repeat business with people, you get that efficiency of like, "Hey, we sell really good deals and these good deals do not last long." To where the only way you're getting that is if you have an absolute home run in another place, because they don't know you from Adam either and they're trying not to get burned. And so you want to have that type of California. That's why we wanted to go after it, because it is the cream of the crop when it comes to selling stuff and making as much money as you can. To where we are selling another one in Florida, to where we did it on investor lift, didn't get any bites, sent it to a JV partner, didn't get any bites, didn't investor base, didn't get any bites, put it on the MLS on Friday. We got 2 full priced offers on Monday.
There you go.
And so that was solid. And that one wasn't an ovation. That was just, we have an attorney in fact, and it's a cash deal. What's another thing we messed up with these novations, bro? I'm scared with the novations of doing deals with someone who I don't, with a realtor who we don't know. I'd say that's the next part. We have like reached out to realtors to get them done, and then they just dropped the ball, and that's why we kept going flat fee. Because the realtors just like aren't worth a shit. And so that's another way.
You just got to find the right people. I mean, that goes for anything. Realtors in general, you could say wholesalers, real estate investors, cash buyers, whatever other title you want to give somebody. It's
most people aren't worth a shit. when it's like you gotta.
Most people talk.
Most people talk. They aren't really doing anything, and then you aren't a part of the community, so you don't know who to trust and like who's actually gonna do what they say they're gonna do. So like out here, when anybody needs a buyer, I'm like, Armando's the guy. Just send Armando a deal. Armando will tell you the price and he'll buy it. Mm-hmm. He says what he's gonna do. Someone needs a contractor. I say Thomas Braden. TJ is going to 100% get it done. He does what he says he's gonna do. We can say fire damage. Bro, hit up Henry Resendez. Henry Resendez says he does what he says he's going to do. To where when you're making promises on your end and you promise these people things are going to go one way, you just want to make sure that in order to get that done, everybody's on the same team and you can trust your essentially partners to get everything to the finish line.
Yeah. Shanae says finding the right realtor is hard. It's true, especially, there's so many of them. How do I know which one's the right one? How can I make sure that they're going to follow through? Man, it's tough. And it's interesting too, because there's, whatever the percentages is, they say that, 10% of the realtors do 90% of the transactions. There's all these different statistics, and, it's some really low amount of realtors that are doing most of the transactions. You would think that somebody who's looking to get some money in their pocket, they would just follow through and execute. But, they're maybe not a top performer for that reason, So,
most people aren't top performers for a reason. Is a great way to put it.
So the flat fee services have been decent.
Yeah, I like Beak Home, because the hard part with a lot of these flat fee services is that they'll put it up, but then it's hard for an agent to get a hold of you, and it sends them to like a toll-free number. They gotta fucking wait. To where with Beak Home, we get calls directly forwarded to us, and I'd say they're the Jacket Brokerless is good. There's another one that I don't necessarily like, just because it's been hard for people to get a hold of us. Like we've had multiple people like eventually like, hey, I had to call 6 different numbers to get a hold of you. I want to buy this house. And this is after this thing's been on the market for a month. And I'm like, hey, bro, we actually just sold it, but thanks. All right. But so Beak Home, I think, is the most efficient. They're tech forward, to where I think there's a chance at someone in doing good business over there, just because there's some of these flat fee brokers, bro. If you look at their websites are from the 90s.
Yeah.
Like it's sketch.
That in itself is going to turn me away. I don't want to move forward.
Right. Like, and like they text and they talk really fast. And like you can tell like they've just been doing business for years off of relationships. Right. There's like not a whole lot of paperwork. And like, all right, here's your PayPal. What's your PayPal, bro? I'll send you the invoice. To where it's like that type of stuff. What else would I say we should do different? What have we learned over the challenge? You need to be significantly more aggressive in your prices than you ever think you would be on the acquisition side. And then if you are doing it and you don't have investor lift, you're going up a uphill battle. I think you need investor lift and investor base. You need investor lift just for because we've sold stuff on there to where it's like a random person saw it on investor lift. They'd never done a deal before and they got it. But investor base is still good because you can get everybody's direct phone numbers and still get them on the phone. So now, like our whole process, we have investor lift, we go in Artemis mode. We pull out every single person who looked at a property within a 1 mile radius. We go in all those lists. We take all their names and phone numbers, add them to Resimply, send out a mass text on Resimply. We do investor base, we do the same thing, and then we call through all those numbers as well to get it sold. So we have the text messages that go out on Investor Lift, text messages that go out through Resimply from investor base, our emails, and then phone calls. To where in California, again, you send out a Facebook group post and you're pretty solid. You don't really need to do much else.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I think it's pretty cool that you are continuing to make some tweaks and changes to your marketing, to your process, to get the results you're getting. You got 3 deals today. That one in Houston, that Novation sounds like a pretty juicy one potentially.
It won't be, because if we look at it, we got 365. We locked it up at 300. Say we pay $10,000 in closing costs. We estimate $18,000 in commissions, $5,000 in repair credits. So we'll make 30.
Yeah,
it's nothing crazy.
Good deal though.
Solid deal.
Yeah, not a bad day. What's your goal throughout the rest of the year?
What is our goal throughout the rest of the year? What do we have on the board? That's 10. That one won't sell until a couple more weeks. 10. We'll probably try and make 50 to 70 in December with the stuff we have lined up. Yeah, we'll try and make 50 to 70 in December. But nothing crazy. I mean, us ramping up the stuff with Courtney's been really good. And then we'll have some more stuff going with Property Pros here pretty soon. And then I think I'm talking to a YouTube ads guy. And I think I'm going to run those in Fresno and see how it goes.
Okay.
But I'd say the only goal, we gotta hire on more sales reps. That's way harder than I thought it would be. And then that'll be all. We have the lead flow now. I actually got a post about hiring sales reps today. But shout out Simply. Thanks for tuning in, Shanae.
Yeah, I mean, Simply is talking about buyers. Has got a very exciting update coming in the next couple of weeks where they're integrating with Investor Base and bringing in those buyers right into Simply. That's going to be an absolute game changer for so many people. So I'm excited to talk about that update as it comes and put it to work. So it's going to be amazing.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, do not forget to hit like and subscribe. Tune in at Deal Champs on YouTube. Are we doing a pod next week? Do we have anything next week?
We might. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see who we can get on the pod next week. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Peace.